these are all the things that I can't physically show you in the classroom. So let's make sure you know what you need for the next 18 weeks that you're in here. If you can't remember what something is, just start opening up the drawers or ask me or read the labels. This one says me vibing to my own playlist, knowing that it's a masterpiece. So often you can listen to music while you're working in my class, but it is Mr. Gardner's rule that I am not supposed to let you be on a phone. Or one of my 6th grade creative writers last semester, he was playing on his watch, and I did have to take it, which I felt bad about, but I have to follow that rule too. I'm also supposed to not let you use your headphones, which is why I have my headphones. And so I know that makes it tougher. Like, I want to listen to music while I'm working, but I can't. How, right? And so on Canvas, I'm going to show you this. In modules, underneath that week's module, so this is this week's module, and right underneath it, it will always be the second module, is the music module. This is music without words, and that's because there's a lot of research that says that if you listen to music with words while you're trying to write, it actually makes writing harder. And so you're welcome to use that. It is not required, but it is an option if you want to. So that's always going to be in modules. You thought your phone was charging overnight, but it wasn't plugged in, single tier. So if you do need to charge, I know this is silly, but I'm going to literally just walk around the room and show you, okay? So over here in the front corner by this blue cart, there are 2 plugs right here. So like Tyson could totally charge right here, right? This plug has this extension cord over by the word wall over here. So like anybody right here, you can, your cord, you can plug it into the extension cord, which this extension cord stays here. This side of the room is empty because by 6th period, it's very possible that your Chromebook might have kind of given up on life, right? And that it ran out of battery. And so you have to ask me first, but after you ask, some people will move to the edge here. So there's an outlet back here. Back here by the ducts where Ben is, the back row is also empty so that people who need to move to charge can easily move. So there's a bunch of outlets back here. Also, like you two right here, your cord could probably reach right here beneath the fan. But there's also another trick. So Frederico is right next to this, which is a long extension cord, right? So you could leave this over on the ground and plug, and then when you're done, you do have to wrap it back up and put it back in this little hole over here. But that's for anyone right in this area. Yeah.
What's this little plaything in the floor?
Yeah, so this classroom used to be a desktop computer lab, but it is not anymore. Clear. Okay, there you go. Come get this. Awesome. Well, you're so lucky that Jeanette found it for you. So those used to have power routed to them. They don't anymore, which is so sad. It would be nice if they worked, but they don't. Anyone right here, this yellow extension cord, you can bring it closer to you as long as you wrap it back up when you're done. And then obviously the front of the room, you've got one up here as well. So now you know all the places you can charge if you need to. We already talked about it's 10 coins every single time you need to borrow a Chromebook or a charger. So the way to never get charged, bring your own charger, and I will never charge you 10 coins, okay? 10 PBIS points. Waiting for your teacher to update your grades. The good news is I update grades every single day. Every single day you will see your grade change. We're going to actually start doing stuff on our Chromebooks tomorrow. So tomorrow is a good day to make sure you bring a charged Chromebook to 6th period. And just keep grading. So when you turn in something late, it's not a big deal at all, guys, as long as you turn it in eventually. But I want to show you this. So just like you have a to-do list on Canvas, as a teacher, I also have a to-do list. And being really honest with you, it's almost a competition with myself trying to get that to 0. So I will see it pop up on my to-do list. So that means you really don't need to email me if you turn in something late. Not because you're bothering me, but you're really doing extra work. If you turn it in and then you email me to tell me you turned it in, you're just doing work you don't need to do, because I will see it. And then I want to show you this other thing. So you guys don't see this on your end of Canvas, but on my teacher end of Canvas, there's this thing called the nightly sync, which I have turned on. So let's say it's 6th period and you turned in something late at 2:23 and I got it graded right after school. And so the nightly sync, see how it says nightly sync is scheduled at 10 p.m.? That means you'll see it updated on your Skyward grade after 10 o'clock, okay? Yeah. They all do get a little out of sync. That one is the most accurate. And when they get really off, I try and fix them. So yeah, I need to do that. You go to school. Nothing happens. And then you miss just one day. And there were 6 fights, and Tupac comes back. He was an old rapper in the 90s. School had a blackout. Beyonce performed in the cafeteria. I know that it's tough when you're absent, but yes, you missed stuff, and yes, you have to do it. So the trick in my class, this daily schedule right here, everything we do, it's right here. And usually, just like I'm doing right now for the people who are gone, I am recording the lesson. And so you come and look on the daily schedule and it tells you what you missed. And often it says, if you were absent, please watch this recording. Okay? You're doing awesome, you guys. Stick with me just a little bit longer. We're almost done here. Me typing a formal email to the teacher, and the teacher responds with, yeah, okay. That's just because we're busy. So, again, you are totally welcome to email me. It is not bothering me at all. I love hearing from you. But it is the slower method. I am super insanely busy trying to teach 4 completely different classes. And so, honestly, it's usually faster to just ask me during class. But you can also email me. Sometimes I just don't have time to respond quite yet. If you ever try and come and find me before school, I'm actually not here because Mr. Gardner gave me the choice this year if I wanted to be a full-time teacher or not. And I chose to not be a full-time teacher, which means I get paid a little less than everybody else, but it means I get to sleep in every day. And I was okay with that. So I don't have a first period at all. So I'm not here until 8:30 every morning. So that's why if you ever come and try and see me before school, I know, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, I teach. So I have no first period. Second period is debate 1. Third period is debate 2. Fourth period is when I try and do all my lesson planning and grading. 5th period is creative writing 2, and then 6th period is creative writing 1. So that's my whole schedule. Ken has hall pass, please. We already talked about it, but you do have to sign out every time you use it. Because if there was an emergency, there won't be, but if there was, I have to know who is where in case you're in the restroom and the firemen are here, and then we have to send the firemen to you. Takes only hall pass. Walks around school for an hour. We all hate those kids that do that. So there's 2 times where you should literally just run. I have to knock on wood for this. I have never had a student throw up in my classroom, which is kind of unheard of in Teacherland. We had this old choir teacher, probably 6 years ago, who learned the hard way that they don't carpet clean until summer. He had a student talk to him in his carpeted office, and she threw up unexpectedly. You can't control when you get sick, right? But he asked the janitors to come clean it up, and they kind of can't. They sort of try, but they have these big industrial carpet cleaners they bring in during the summer, so his office smelled like throw up for 6 months. So when I tell you I want you to run, I know this sounds silly, but it saves me from having a problem. You could throw up all over the hallway out there, and it doesn't matter at all, because it's not carpet. They can easily clean that up, no problem. So I really, literally don't want you to ask. I don't want you to try and sign out. I don't want you to grab the hall pass. I want you to just run, okay? Same with the bloody nose. Bloody noses are a minor emergency, everybody. So don't get blood on the hall pass. Don't touch the hall pass. Don't sign out. I would ask that on your way out with a bloody nose, just yell at me, bloody nose! And the reason why I asked that, last year, I was really confused one day. These 2 kids in my 6th grade creative writing class, they were on opposite sides of the classroom. They both got up almost at the exact same time, stood up and walked out. And I was like, what is happening? I'm so confused right now. It turns out they both had a bloody nose at the same time. But I was just very confused. And so try and yell it at me if you can, if you're able to. Oh, you're the school bully? Oh, your parents must be so proud of you. Gosh. Like I told you, it's the only time I really get angry. So please be nice to each other so that we all have the best second semester ever. when your friend gets to leave early and you're like, no, don't leave me. So the only other thing that drives me a little bit crazy is when people leave early or they open the classroom door. It is a really strict rule. We are supposed to leave it shut. So don't open the door. There is a camera right outside my door in the hallway, just so you know, and they do monitor that. It's not like they get on morning announcements though and say, "Good morning, Albion Knights. It's a beautiful day in the kingdom. Guess who's in trouble because they left Mrs. Coates' class early?" They don't do that, but they do take care of it privately. That would kind of be funny. But you have been warned, so don't leave early. I already told you the story, but I think seeing this poor kid's face, that's after he went to the emergency room. It was a wide open wound. That's after he got stitches. We had blood on the fourth row because they tried to clean it up, but again, they don't carpet clean till summer. And they told me it took them 4 carpet cleans before they totally got all the blood out. So please don't lean in your chairs because I love you and I don't want you to be hurt. Okay. I just want everyone to be happy. Spelling and grammar and punctuation never count against you in my class because it's not an English class. So I want you to focus on being creative rather than being really worried about it being perfect. It says people write congrats because they can't spell congratulations, which I think they spelled wrong on purpose. But again, don't stress. Don't stress about spelling. Don't stress about grammar. It doesn't matter because it's just creative writing. So we do have to talk about artificial intelligence. Unfortunately, last semester, even though I had this discussion, I had an 8th grade boy and a 6th grade girl who both thought they were going to get away with it and they didn't. So the good news is at Albion, 99% of the students follow instructions. But I have to make it very clear, you can use artificial intelligence for certain things. But there are certain things you cannot use it for. So you can use it for help getting an idea. It's really good at giving you ideas. You'd be like, I need a story idea about, I don't know, an alien who visits the Wild West, right? And it will give you an idea. And that's totally okay as long as you do the writing yourself. It's also really good at editing your writing, which is not required. But sometimes I do that. After I wrote something big, I put it into ChatGPT and say, help me make this better. And it's really good at that. It can also create an image to go with your story, which is not required in my class, but you are allowed to do that if you want to. It can also help you get unstuck. You know how sometimes when you're writing, you're halfway through and just all the inspiration leaves you? And you get writer's block. Yeah. And so it's really good at helping you get unstuck if you have writer's block. I do it sometimes myself. If I'm halfway through writing a story, I put it into ChatGPT and say, I'm stuck. I have writer's block. Can you give me an idea to help me keep the story going? And then I keep writing. But things you can't use it for, you can't have it do your writing for you because that is straight up cheating. And it does lead to pretty big consequences, which we'll talk about. The 6th grade girl who it took me 8 seconds to be like, yeah, she didn't write this herself. There was an assignment that there were right and wrong answers, which does not happen very often in our class. But she used it to answer the questions for her, which is cheating because she wasn't doing the thinking herself. So, again, I think you guys are the kinds of kids who you wouldn't do this, but I want to make sure you know the consequences so that I don't have to do any of these. Because it's really hard for me as a teacher to have someone get in that much trouble. It makes me sad. I want everyone to be happy, and I don't like doing it. But number 1, you get a U in citizenship, which cannot get changed. Number 2, I email all of your teachers so that they know that you cheated and they're on the lookout. Number 3, it goes on your permanent record so all of your future teachers also know to be on the lookout that you cheated. Yeah. Number 4, you don't get to come to our fun class parties. We'll have 2, and that's sad. Number 5, you don't get any more candy in my class. Number 6, I email your parents. Number 7, they have to come in and have a meeting with you and the principal. So when I tell you it is not worth it to cheat with artificial intelligence, it is not worth it. The 8th grade boy who had to do his writing for him, I really think he just thought he was going to get away with it. And again, I could tell within literally 5 seconds that he hadn't done the writing because I read what you turn in, you guys. I know what your normal writing looks like, and I know when it's not you who did the writing. So please be careful. Okay. When you get in trouble at school, and you go home, and your mom says your teacher called. So that's just for fun. So sometimes in creative writing, Kids ask if they can write certain things. They are writing a story and then they stop. And sometimes kids will come talk to me and they say, Mrs. Coates, can I write this? So the answer is, I would be careful if I were you, because your Chromebook isn't private at all. The teachers can see anything you're doing, right? We know that through Land School, but the principal also gets a report from the district every single month that has a list of everything that he needs to follow up with, that kids were looking at things. Even when you are at home, if you're on your school's computer, the school Chromebook, even if you're not connected to the school Wi-Fi, we can still see all of that stuff. So you need to be careful. I always say the rule of thumb, like my mom, let's say that I was writing a story and I have a little bit of guts and gore. I know that my mom wouldn't mind at all. And it's fake. It's not real. It's creative writing. We're making it up. So the rule of my class really is, if your mom or dad or whoever's in charge at your house, if they were sitting right next to you reading what you're writing, would they be okay with it? And if the answer is yes, then it's okay. Because usually what you write is, it's only me and you seeing it, and I'm not offended. So just remember, on the other side of things though, it's not private, so be careful. Okay. So, I usually have not gone very often because I don't like being gone, because I like my job. I want to be here with you guys. Every once in a while, there's a few days where you're required to not be there because you have a meeting. So if you're good for a sub, which I'm sure you guys will be, because again, but if you're really good, I give the sub a bunch of coupons, and I literally write it into my sub plan. Give these students as many coupons as you possibly can if they're being good for you. So the yellow coupon is for candy. I had a sub last year who she passed out 7 yellow coupons, which means when I got back, kids were getting 7 pieces of candy each. The green coupons are for PBIS points. The more of the green coupons you get, the more PBIS points you get. Okay, so just be really good for a sub, but there won't be any problems. And, no, Mom! Our teacher doesn't give us too much candy. Why do you ask? So again, it just goes back to, it makes your life happier and it makes my life easier. So that's why I have all those rewards. But I did have one of the 6th grade boys in my Creative Writing 1 class last semester. He didn't take this seriously. He stole candy. He thought I didn't see, but I did. So he just stopped winning the candy drawing. I just stopped pulling his name. That's it. So you've been warned. He didn't win candy for 15 weeks. So don't steal candy. I'm going to give you so much candy anyways that there's really no point in stealing it. But kids think they're sneaky. They'll put one in their palm and then grab another one. Or they'll put one up the sleeve and then grab another one. Or they'll put one in a pocket. I've been a teacher for too long. You can't pull that stuff over on me because I just know what to look for. This is silly. So I was buying candy this weekend, right? And I was trying to get, like I told you, the most amount of candy for the cheapest amount possible. For some weird reason, dark chocolate Hershey Kisses are half as expensive as milk chocolate. And I know that people your age usually like milk chocolate better. But I did an experiment. I made my husband, who hates dark chocolate, I made him eat one of the dark chocolate Hershey Kisses and said, I need you to tell me, actually, be honest with me, do you like this? And he actually said he loved it. As a dark chocolate hater, because he said it's not like normal dark chocolate, it's not like fancy dark chocolate. He really just said it tasted good and chocolatey and sugary. So I think if he gave it his seal of approval, I think it's worth trying. If you're like, I don't know, try it one time, because it really is good. We already talked about if you want coins instead of candy. I should talk to you about the sticky note thing, right? Okay. Almost done. This is the last one. The teacher says no food in class, and then there's the one kid in the back of the class, like, challenge accepted. So I don't care if you have food. It's totally fine. The only rules, it can't be distracting. There was this 7th grade boy a couple years ago. He was so funny. But he stood up in the middle of the lesson one day. He had a bag of Takis and literally went, hey, who wants Takis? So if you do that, I'm going to take away your food privileges. Number 2, if you eat a tuna fish sandwich in the middle of class, everyone is going to hate you, right? Because it's smelly. So don't eat anything too smelly. And you know how chip bags are super creaky? Probably try and be quiet with your food. But otherwise, I don't care at all. So that is officially the end. I need you guys to remind me tomorrow. I will tell you the story of the car that I won. I was going to do it today, but I need time to reward you all for being wonderful, amazing, awesome humans.